Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari
Nitai
Bol.
Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari
Nitai
Bol.
Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakaacharya Stotra Sata His Divine Grace Abhay Charanar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. What are the names of the deities? I forgot in Chennai. Radha. Okay. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Lalita Vishakha ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudirayet
Tato Jayamudire
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshva Bhatreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavatyuttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Naishtiki.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service, Text 20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Srila Prabhupada's translation. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. I'll read the first paragraph of the purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.3, it is said that out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection in life. Mostly, men are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus they are engaged always in lust, desire, hankerings, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. And out of many thousands of such persons who have thus attained success in human life, one may know scientifically about the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. In the same Bhagavad Gita 18.55, it is also said that scientific knowledge of Sri Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I am very happy to be back again with the devotees of ISKCON Chennai. I have many, sorry? Oh yes, I forgot. You have to translate it to Tamil. Yeah, okay. I have many fond memories, I should say, then vanakkam to everybody. Eppadi inga irke? I hope. Okay. So I have many fond memories of my stay, of my visit rather to ISKCON Chennai a year ago or so. It is a very beautiful temple, magnificent deities, and a very nice community of devotees. So I'm happy to be once again with all of you. I was requested today to speak on the topic, happiness is in your control, but I'm not so convinced about the topic itself. So I will have to modify it slightly as we go along. And since this is a class for regular devotees, I will make it rather philosophical today. Had it been a class for complete newcomers or those not aware of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, maybe I would have approached it a little differently. But the purpose of the Srimad Bhagavatam class in the temple every morning is to go deep into the philosophy. So let me begin with a conversation that Srila Prabhupada had with a professor of Sanskrit in Mexico in 1975. In the course of that conversation, the professor asked Srila Prabhupada a very important question. His question was, why does anything exist at all? Now you will wonder, what has this got to do with the topic? Hopefully that will become clear as we go along in the talk. So the professor had asked a very valid question that has been asked for philosophers since a long time. And there are some people who believe that nothing exists at all. And they are called Shunyavadis or voidists, because they believe that everything is a void or shunya or zero and nothing actually exists. It's all illusion. So in answer to the question, why does anything exist at all? First of all, before we answer the question, why does anything exist at all, we should ask the question, does anything exist at all? And we may think that's a strange question to ask, but actually it's a very fundamental question. So before we answer the question, why does anything exist at all, we must ask the question, does anything exist at all? So the Shunyavadis or the voidists will say, no, nothing exists. So they say there is no God, no soul, no material world, nothing. everything is zero, nothing exists at all. Then, after the voidists are those who are called the monists. Monists are those who believe that they will give the answer yes and no, the impersonalists. So in answer to the question, does anything exist at all? They will say yes and no. They will say the material world does not exist, but the impersonal spiritual light, the Brahman, that exists. And when the Vaishnavas are asked the question, does anything exist at all? They will answer yes. Of course, the Vaishnavas will also distinguish between a false understanding of reality and the true understanding of reality, but they understand that the world exists and there is a spiritual world also. So anyway, so when this question was asked to Srila Prabhupada, why does anything exist at all? Srila Prabhupada's immediate response was as follows. Why should anything or everything not exist? Then he went on to say, the question really should be, from whom or from where does anything and everything originate? And the implication of that is obviously that when we understand from whom and where everything originates, the answer of why everything exists will also become clear. So, the process of understanding the absolute truth is to understand the ultimate origin of everything. So then, for example, we take this, any object that we see, like these headphones here, where does it come from? And we keep asking this question and we go back and further and further and further and further till we come to the ultimate source of everything. When we reach that point, which is the origin of everything and which does not have an origin itself, then we say that we have reached the point of the absolute truth. So, once we ascertain the existence of the absolute truth, the next question is, how do we know this absolute truth now? How do we realize this absolute truth? So, the process of Jnana Yoga is to go to eliminate that which is not the origin of everything and then reach the ultimate source of everything by speculation and by logic and so on. However, once we have reached the point of the absolute truth, what do we do? This is where Bhakti Yoga comes in. So Sankhya Yoga, Srila Prabhupada explains, is the process of understanding the reality and understanding the root of all existence. And Bhakti Yoga means to now engage in the service of the root of all existence. So, how do we understand the absolute truth like this? By the process of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Then our question of the why anything exists or the purpose of existence will be answered. So then in Krishna, when Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. The meaning of this verse is that Krishna says he is the source of all material and spiritual worlds, and one who understands this engages in my worship, Krishna says, with full attention and devotion. So Prabhavaha means the source. Aham sarvasya Prabhavaha. So I am the source of everything. And then Mattaha Sarvam, from me everything comes. Mattaha Sarvam Pravartate, everything comes from me. So therefore, once we have understood who or what the absolute truth is, then we should serve with devotion. This is the perfection of knowledge. And it is by this process that one can attain ultimate happiness. So let's come back to the conversation between Srila Prabhupada and that professor. So Srila Prabhupada elaborated upon that point about why it was important to understand first from where or from whom everything originates. And then he gave the final answer to that question. Now remember, what was that question? The question was, why does anything exist at all? And Srila Prabhupada's final answer to that was one word, and that was Ananda. That is bliss, real happiness. So the reason why anything and everything exists is Ananda, is bliss, happiness. So this is a very interesting answer. In one word, such a fundamental question has been answered so brilliantly by Srila Prabhupada. So, according to our conceptions of life in this world, we will have different ideas of what happiness is. Broadly speaking, we can speak of three types of happiness. One is called Jadananda. Jada means that which is not conscious, so material. So Jadananda means material happiness. The second is called Brahmananda, which is the happiness that is experienced when the sadhaka or the jnana yogi he merges into the impersonal Brahman. And finally, there is Premananda, the happiness of prema or love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the Jadananda, the material happiness, can also be gross or it can be subtle. So there are certain physical enjoyments which are gross forms of Jadananda. And then some refined forms of Jadananda also exist. Like, for example, the happiness experienced on the intellectual platform, like some poetry, some philosophy, some, things like that. So it's a little refined, but it is still material. Therefore, this happiness is not really happiness at all. It is only a dull reflection of real happiness. And it is only a cause of misery. When one rises beyond the material platform and understands that I am the spirit soul and I should identify with that impersonal spiritual light, and he worships that, then that transcendentalist starts experiencing this Brahmananda, the Ananda of Brahma or spiritual light. So then, as one goes ahead and one's understanding of the absolute truth increases, then one comes to the point of understanding Krishna, the supreme absolute truth. So as I said in the Bhagavad Gita verse, that bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. So having known him, then the wise people, buddhaha, they engage in the loving service of the Lord. So this is the process of bhakti yoga, and that gives the mind great pleasure or happiness. And that is what was mentioned in the verse of the Bhagavatam that I started out with, evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha. So once one experiences the happiness of Krishna prema, or love of Godhead, then all these other forms of happiness, even Brahmananda, what to speak of Jadananda, all become very insignificant. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj in the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya has spoken a very nice verse. Tvat sakshat karanahlada vishuddhabdhi sthitasya me sukham goshpadayante brahmanyapi jagat guru. The meaning of this verse is that, O Jagat Guru, O Guru of the entire universe, Tvat Sakshat Karana, by the act of directly being in your presence, of having your direct darshan, I am experiencing ahlada, which means great spiritual bliss. Vishuddha Abdhi. Abdhi means ocean. Vishuddha means that which is spiritually purified. Sthitasya me. So now that I have taken your darshan, which I'm in, and I'm in your direct presence, I feel myself situated in an ocean of spiritual bliss. Sukham goshpadayante brahmani api. Now, all the so-called happiness of this world, even up to the point of the Brahma Sukha, Brahmananda, all that appears insignificant. So he uses the word Goshpadayante, which means the space within the hoof print of a calf. How much is the space that is contained within the hoof print of a calf? It's very small. And can you compare that to the vast unlimited ocean? So similarly, the so-called happiness of this world and even up to Brahmananda is like the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. And the happiness of loving Krishna is like an ocean, a vast unlimited spiritual ocean. In the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada gives some very interesting insights into understanding why everything exists. Those of you who are more serious in studying philosophy, you can refer to chapter 20 of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada says that the Supreme Absolute Truth is complete in his perfection when he is both infinite as well as infinitesimal. Infinitesimal means very, very, very tiny. And infinite means unlimitedly great or vast. So Prabhupada says that if the Absolute Truth is simply infinite and not infinitesimal, then he will be not perfect. Therefore, the Supreme Absolute Truth must have the infinite aspect and also the infinitesimal aspect. So the infinite aspect of the Supreme Absolute Truth is called the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Vishnu Tattva. And the infinitesimal portion of the Absolute Truth are the tiny living entities, the jivas. And now here is the key point that Prabhupada makes. Please hear attentively. Prabhupada says, the spiritual world exists due to the infinite desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the material world exists due to the infinitesimal desires of the living entities. So then here, he is giving the reason why the jivas exist, why the spiritual world exists, and why the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists, and why the material world exists. So let me summarize. The Supreme Personality of Godhead exists because he is the infinite aspect of the Absolute Truth. The jivas exist because they are the infinitesimal aspect of the Absolute Truth. The spiritual world exists because of the desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the material world exists because of the desires of the living entities, the jivas. So when the jiva's desires are in alignment with that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are called liberated souls, and then they go on to live in the spiritual world. When the desires of the jivas are not in alignment with that of those of the Supreme Lord, they live in the material world, in bondage. So Prabhupada says the jivas are the complementary side of the Supreme. I don't know how you will translate that in Tamil, complementary. And then it comes to another crucial point, that there are reciprocal feelings of love between the jivas and Krishna. And it is for the sake of relishing this exchange of transcendental feelings that Krishna's energy expands itself into the jivas. So, Eko Bahusyam, the Upanishads say that one became many, and that is the reason for this. Raso Vaisaha, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the personification of rasa, transcendental mellow. Therefore, he expands himself into all the infinitesimal portions and has exchanges of transcendental emotion with them. In this exchange of transcendental love, there is great happiness. So, from the Jiva's point of view, this is called Krishna Prema. So, this Krishna Prema gives unlimited happiness, which is ever expanding, never ending, and extremely sweet. It is a manifestation of Krishna's internal energy, which is called Hladini Shakti, that potency for spiritual bliss. And as we all know, the personification of the Hladini Shakti is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, we can get even a drop of devotion to Krishna. And because that prema, that devotion is synonymous with happiness, so the pure devotee is suffused with transcendental bliss. So, happiness and love are the same thing on the spiritual platform. So, love of Godhead means happiness. There is no other happiness apart from transcendental love of God. At a most fundamental level, this is the real definition of happiness. The more we love Krishna, the more we will experience that happiness. So therefore, even from Krishna's point of view, it is necessary that the jivas exist. In the same chapter 20 of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada goes on to say that had there been no living entities, the Supreme Lord would have been inactive. And there would have been no variegatedness in the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a king, that there is no meaning to the word king unless there is a praja or there are subjects. So it is because of this exchange of transcendental rasa, of love between the jivas and Krishna, that everything exists. And since there is the love of God is synonymous with bliss, therefore Srila Prabhupada answered that question of that philosopher, why does anything exist at all, by saying Ananda in one word. So I'll conclude the talk now with the question, is happiness in our control? Now we come to the point, yes? For attaining success in Krishna consciousness, there are two things required. One is our sincere effort in devotional service. And second is mercy of Krishna coming directly and through the Guru Parampara. So our effort is in our hands, our control. We can do as much as we can, but we cannot attain this perfection of happiness only by our own efforts. For that, we are dependent on mercy of Krishna and of the pure devotees. At the same time, we cannot say happiness is not in our control at all. We have absolutely no control. We cannot say that because we have to put in our own effort. Therefore, by sincerely, dedicatedly practicing Krishna consciousness under the guidance of the Guru Parampara, one can eventually attain the mercy of Krishna and the pure devotees and attain that lasting happiness, which is the ultimate goal of life. Okay, so I will stop here. Nandri. No, we'll have questions. Yeah, we can have questions. Because this has been a little heavy class with so much philosophy. So we will leave it open for some questions now. Okay, so the question is that what is more important? What is the goal, the mentality of a devotee, that the devotee does devotional service which he or she likes, or does devotional service which is pleasing to Krishna? Naturally, it is the second. But in the course of doing devotional service that pleases Krishna, we will also get happiness. That is the key. The more we try to work for our own happiness directly and independently of the desires of Krishna, we will not get happiness. The more we try to serve and fulfill Krishna's desires, the more we will get happiness. At the same time, it must be pointed out that a pure devotee is not after happiness. The pure devotee is only after trying to please Krishna and make Krishna happy. The pure devotee does not care about his own happiness. He is only concerned about Krishna's happiness. But such is the nature of Krishna consciousness and the merciful aspect of Krishna that automatically when the devotee develops that attitude, he gets enormous spiritual happiness. So I hope that answers the question. So your question is that whilst performing devotional service, the devotees get distracted in so many different ways and become complacent. How do we address that? Okay, so in the beginning, they were focused and knew the goal very well, but as time goes on, they become distracted. They lose that focus. Why does that happen? And what is the solution? Okay. Well, it's the natural way of how things work in the material world. In the material world, the general nature of things is to distract us, is to pull us down. So this is only to be expected. The material world will divert our attention constantly from one thing to another. Bahu shakhahi anantascha. So to counter that, we have to continue with our Krishna consciousness very strongly. So with that, there's only that one solution to counter that distraction with increased sincere devotional service in the association of devotees. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. By following the instructions of the Guru Parampara, in the association of devotees, one can attain that fixed, determined nature that will help us transcend the distractions of this world. Oh, sorry, the translation in Tamil, yes. So I must say that your Jivana Gaura Hari, you're one of the best translators I have come across. Although I don't understand the Tamil language, but the fluency and the shall we say immediate responses that you're giving, I can understand that you are translating it very well. I can also feel that you're not leaving out anything or you're not misrepresenting anything. So I think you're even without understanding Tamil, I can see that you're doing an excellent job as a translator. Very nice, very nice. Where is the question coming from? Where is the question coming from? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So your question is that when Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about what a devotee should do in sadhana bhakti, he speaks about enthusiasm, utsaha, nischaya, dhairyat. So this enthusiasm, is it just merely encouragement or is it happiness? Is it, yes, right? That's your question. Well, of course, enthusiasm, as you know, how does Srila Prabhupada describe enthusiasm? Can you give nectar of instruction, English, from there? So let us see what Srila Prabhupada says. I will read out this from Nectar of Instruction, okay? From the purport. One should accept this opportunity to return home back to Godhead very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in the material world, one has to be very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to be successful. A student, businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in his line must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Now, Srila Prabhupada will define what is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, oh sorry, I forgot. Yes, please translate. Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada now defines enthusiasm. He says enthusiasm means action. But action for whom? The answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishna artha akhila cheshta. Krishna artha akhila cheshta. So Krishna artha in this context means for the sake of, for the benefit of, or for the sake of. Akhila means everything. Cheshta means efforts. So our akhila cheshta, all our activities or endeavors should be done for Krishnartha, for the sake of Krishna, for pleasing Krishna. In other words, enthusiasm means to constantly act for the satisfaction of Krishna. Okay? Okay. So there is one question here in the chat box. A devotee who is connected to a spiritual master, if he gets a human form in the next life, will he get the same spiritual master, or will he get an opportunity to connect to Guru Parampara in an authorized sampradaya? That's the question. My answer is, why do you want the spiritual master to take birth again to become your spiritual master in the next life? So whether ultimately it will Krishna who will manifest through the Guru, and the Guru may be same person, maybe different person, it's another question. Obviously, if the Guru goes back to Godhead, then he will not be here in that form, or the same Jiva will not be there to become the spiritual master. So then somebody else will become the spiritual master who will also be empowered by Krishna. All right, so thank you all very much. Please continue on with your devotional service. You have such a nice community of devotees there. You have such a nice temple, and all the facilities are there in Chennai for you to make spiritual advancement. Please take the benefit of all that Krishna has so nicely and mercifully arranged. And best wishes and greetings to all of you. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Lalita Vishakha ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, Nandri. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yes, that the question is that without jivas, Krishna is not complete. How to understand that? Yeah, that I explained in the course of the lecture, that the jivas are the infinitesimal aspect of the absolute truth, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the infinite aspect of the absolute truth. So if Krishna is only infinite and he doesn't have the infinitesimal aspect, then he cannot be complete and perfect. So in order that he become complete and perfect, both aspects must be there. Therefore, jivas also are there. Okay? All right. So thank you all very much. Nandri, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Chennai Yatra ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.